get into the game. There we go. Okay. I look really dark and I don't know why. Does that make a difference? Oh my god. What just happened? What just I don't know what just happened. If I start losing my voice, I actually might cry. The last time I streamed, I lost my voice. Yeah, I look so pale and the background looks really dark. I don't know if I like it, but the sun's setting, I think. Why am I looking on there? I don't have that on there. She's got a dummy mouth. She hasn't. I'm going to explain the game. Um. Oh yeah, I just remembered that my mum has a parcel coming, but I am streaming. So hopefully it doesn't turn up. But she is on her way home. Okay. I yeah, the sun's not even setting for like 4 hours. That's crazy. It might as well be, but it's fine. We'll ignore it. She doesn't have a dummy in the mouth. It's like a I don't know what it's called. I think it's like the things from Squid Game, like on a stick, right? It's like a sweet thing. It's cute. Look, where's my camera? Look, she's cute. She has like bear socks on and everything. I cannot control this camera for the life of me, but it's not a dummy. It might look like one. I get what you mean, but it's not. But we might even get changed as well because I haven't been to the shop yet. But a biscuit dummy. It can be whatever you want. I got a missed call the last time I played. I have 3 missed calls. So I don't care about that. No, I don't want to do that yet. Okay, good. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna cancel it. Sorry. And then this is a quest. So we'll start with this. But I'm gonna go straight to the shop. I think I should have money to buy clothes because I spent so much money, not yesterday, but the day before on clothes. It was insane. I must have spent like 30k gold on clothes alone because the clothes in this game are so cute that I am obsessed. So, true to its name, a universal ingredient that substitutes for anything in foods recipes. Certain foods like seafood pizza demand particularly specific ingredients. When you need them fast, this universal ingredient saves the day. Speaking of names, true to its name was taught by Vanya. No idea where it learned it. Anyway, if you're curious, come by to... Okay, I didn't know that was a thing until yesterday. Really don't like it. I look really dark. Oh well. Okay, we are going to get my car out. Let's stop tracking that. This is the cutest thing about this game. You can't tell me this is not cute. You need your LEDs back. I do have them. They're a fire hazard. They're not plugged in. They're still on my wall, but they're not plugged in. I have an LED light. But for some reason, the camera is not picking up on it. Look. You can see the red. I don't get it. We're gonna go to the shop. Gonna go to the shops. And go buy things. Cause I think, wait, do I have money? Okay. You know what the cutest thing in this game is as well? I saw someone do it the other day. Someone quite literally had another person attached to them and they were dragging them along. Like, follow me kind of vibes. So cute. I love it. I'm going the wrong way. Where am I going? I think it's so funny. Like, you just see someone getting dragged along by their friend. I'm not looking at anything. Please have cute clothes. Please have cute clothes. What do we have? Okay. Not what I was hoping for so far. So far, I'm not that happy with what's in the shop. Because yesterday I got all the cute stuff, so I don't think the game's giving me cute stuff anymore. But we have crop tops. We have crop tops. So you know what? We might have to... There's a green one. Oh no, there's a green one. Okay. We might end up spending something, but by the looks of it, it's not going to be as much. Yeah, it's not going to be as much as what I spent the other day. I spent all of my money in such a short period of time. It was crazy. But this shop is nowhere near as good as the other day. But I do like these. I like these. Okay. Got those. And I already have this dress, so I don't need it. Okay, this game's actually trying to save my back a little bit. I'm glad I waited all day and this is what I'm getting. Okay, but I need these ones. The, I have like a green and pink dress. I have a green and pink strawberry dress. I think I need to do that. My voice is going again. This is... I don't think my voice likes to stream very much. I could talk all day off stream and my voice is fine. The minute I stream, it's like, you fought. Plus, I ate a bunch of sweets yesterday. My tongue is burning. Like, burning. Oh, you did that when I'm drinking already? Oh my... I'll do it again. I don't understand, though. When I drink, it doesn't help my throat. Like, my throat's just like... Definitely didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. No! No, it's not giving me cute things. I don't want a bucket hat or a towel. I don't want these. Nobody me. I will. I will. It's not giving me the cute stuff. I think I bought all the cute stuff in the game at this point. I don't need any of these. Okay, this is good though. This means I can actually save up money today. Do I buy the other color like pants though? Like the green one. Where's the green top? I don't know if I like the green ones. What did I just get? Like the pinky brown ones? I like those ones. I don't like those. See, these kind of look a bit like jeans. You can't really see them with my camera. Oh my god. But like these, they kind of just, they don't. I don't like them. Yeah, okay, we're gonna leave it then. Because I don't mind not spending money. If I keep money. Because I've got like 15k now. Plus, I do have a bunch of stuff planted that I need to go and uproot and then replant. So we can do a bunch of cooking and a bunch of foraging and quests and stuff today. But I've been putting one thing off for like 5 days. I haven't done any pet stuff yet. Because it's the one thing I didn't do before I thought about streaming this. And I was like, I'm going to save that one hobby to do on stream. At least one thing. But do we change or do we keep this on? I've had this on only for like a day. This is like my favorite little dress in the game because how cute is this? How cute is this little strawberry dress? But I did get these. Not that. I got these the other day. This was a while ago. And I got this yesterday. Because I was just thinking like, you need to collect things in this game in order to like actually get things in return. So even if you don't like an item of clothing, you buy it anyway. But I'm buying all the cute stuff now. And then I'll save the rest of it for later. Like when I don't even need the money, you know? That's such a you character. Oh, yeah, it is. Look. Like this is the vibe of what I was doing the other day. It was like Like, look at this. With like the green hat and then like the pink pinwheel without the bag. Without the bag. Oh no. Without the bag. There we go. That was like the outfit. Or like the pink socks with the white socks with the pink shoes. Like, it's too cute. I can imagine you having the bear socks IRL too. You know what? I don't wear stuff like that. I don't really know why. For some reason, I don't. I can like something so much, but I just won't wear it. Or I won't buy it. Like, Primark right now have the cutest Winnie the Pooh stuff. But it's like, character clothing's cute on kids. I don't like it on me, personally. Like, I don't mind. Like, in fact, not just kids, but, you know, if all my socks are white, that's how boring I am. I love cute stuff when it's like furniture, but on me, it just looks a bit weird. So I just don't wear stuff like that. But I wish that I could get over it and just wear it. I don't know. I don't think I've owned a non-normal pair of socks in a long time. Like, I know a lot of people will wear like the most simple outfit and then their socks will just be like cute socks, but I'm not that person. But yeah, I don't like this outfit right now. I do love this little jumper, but I just don't have anything to really put on with it. Although we could wear the white skirt. Do the shoes go with this? I don't think the shoes go with it. For some reason, they just don't go. I need these, but like, I need them to be pale. I need these to be paler. They don't look right. These drive me insane. Like, what is this? Where did I get this from? Where did I get that from? I feel like I have a bunch of things in game right now that I did not actually collect. I think I got given them or something. We did have an update the other day, actually. I just remembered that. We did have an update because a bunch of stuff went wrong. A bunch of stuff went wrong in game. Oh, this thing actually bugs me like crazy. I just remembered. Do I wear the green? Do we like this? Wait. Maybe I should buy the... Yeah, see? It just doesn't look right. I could do that. I could do this. I feel like the other outfit's so much cuter. Let's just put that one back on. I feel like that one's cuter. What was it? What was it? What did I have on? What did I have on? I'm going crazy. What did we have on? Converse is better. I do like the Converse in this game. I don't remember what I had on. Oh no. Brown. I had this on. Okay. Crisis averted. Maybe we could do it this way around. That's not as cute. Okay, we're going back to the original outfit because it's just too cute. Anyway, we looked in the shop. There's nothing really like me there, but that's fine. Let's go in the furniture shop. And I have a pineapple floaty. I definitely want this. This is definitely what I want. Oh my, I'm not buying that. This furniture shop is not doesn't cater much towards me. Usually the clothing shop, I get a lot of cute stuff. Like this whole outfit was literally from the other day. I think I had the shoes and that was it. And then like yesterday or the day before, I got this whole outfit. So just this shop, like I already have this. I don't need it. I hate this. I own most of this. In fact, you know what? I have some stuff I don't think I actually bought yet. from this. Like I don't have this. See, I already have this. Why is the game saying, oh, you can't see? The game's being like, buy these. And I'm like, I already got them. Don't need them. I'm probably going to regret that. I'll probably end up building something and be like, oh, I wish I had more of these pillows. Should have bought them then. Is there anything I like really want? Maybe I buy the plant. Plant's really cheap as well. In the pictures. I'm not buying anything else. We're about to make money, so might as well. Might as well buy things. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Let me just like change something because it's actually driving me insane. I'm literally, my camera is making me look like I'm in like a horror film. Oh my god. You see? You see the difference of that? That is crazy. I think I look better like this. That was driving me insane. I kept looking over there and I was like, it's so dark. I can't see anything. Like, what's going on? I think this looks better. Gonna leave it on that, guys. And then after stream, like, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll have a play around with the camera and see if I can make it look any better because I did something when I was streaming last year that made the camera look really good. And I was really happy with it. And obviously I haven't streamed in like 6 months and I've forgotten what it was. So I'll play around with it. Oh, and we get new money. What do we get today? More money. Okay, we're getting loads of currency, but I don't even know what the blue currency is. The blue hearts. I don't even know what it is. I have absolutely no idea. Ooh, we got a new reward though. More money. Lovely. Don't mind if I do. Also, I did a lot of cooking yesterday. While I was waiting to go to the house. I was just sat here like, click, 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 for like an hour or two. I love how easy the cooking is in this game. Okay, we need to go and get this because it's going to bug me if I don't go get it. So, let's go find the foxes. Where are they this way? Yeah, I've been doing like a bunch of gardening, forest, like forageables and stuff too. So that I can do cooking. And I think cooking is actually my biggest... No, don't run the bunny over! What is that? Is that a snow globe? Hello? Oh my. What is that? Is that from the gacha thing? I can go in it. It's like Linda's bubble. Oh. What? Make that pink and it's literally like Linda. Wow. Oh my god. What is this? Honestly, like, I get why these kind of games are so popular because if I had all the money in the world, you want to bet that I'd be spending it on games like this. That's a bee. I haven't got a bee yet. Wait. Yes. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my god. I don't know what it is. In video games, I am like completely obsessed with like insects. They're so cute. But like IRL, I'm terrified. Absolutely terrified. Okay, we got nothing really from that, but it's fine. Absolutely fine. We need to feed them more so that they give me 2 things. Because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been doing that. I see a bunch of people that are like feeding the animals every single day, and I'm like, you're too good. You're too good. I need to get into doing the dailies. And like the thing is as well, I can't even make a YouTube video and be like, this is what you should do every day on Heartopia when I don't do it myself. You know? But maybe if we stream the game more, like I'll feel like I need to do things and it'll make me like more productive in the game. Right? That's how that works. Yeah. Oh my god. My house is tiny now. Hello? Who's this? Person just spawned in front of my house. My house is literally tiny in comparison to all these people's houses. I feel like I'm like an insect in a room full of people. I drive past all these people's houses. I'm like not even just driving past them, but when I'm doing like foraging for like berries and things, I go around in circles. And like if you don't already know, like this has berries all around it. So does this. And then so does this. So like if you go around where everyone's houses are, like you can collect all the berries at once. I go past like every single person's house on the server. They're like 2 times bigger than mine. What is that about? Why is everyone's house so much bigger than mine? I'm always scared to start building in games. I need to just start doing it. Speaking of, let's put all my new furniture in storage. What's this one? I need to do loads more stuff. Do you want to look at this? Look at this. Hobbies. Level 1 bird watching. Level 2 insect. Level 2 fishing. But guess what isn't level 1 or level 2? Gardening and fishing. Why, you might wonder. That's all I've been doing. But it's fine, because food makes you the most money. So like, why not, right? But I am online right now, so we are just literally going to plant like a bunch of tomatoes. They don't take very long. But I don't really plant tomatoes usually, but we're going to try and do a bunch of productive stuff. And one of those things is... why can I not get on it? It's blocking me from getting up. I also need to remember to speak into the microphone and not away from the microphone. I did that way too much on Wednesday. Everyone was screaming at me about it. Okay, I keep forgetting I can do this. How do I do it? There we go. I don't know how I keep forgetting that. You can like hold this down and drag it and it does multiple instead of just one. It saves so much time. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do it. I mean, in Palia, like in my defense in Palia, you can only like water multiple crops at once when you level up. So I don't know if this was like a level thing or if you could do it from the beginning, but... okay, we need to do quests before I forget. I've already done my weeklies. My weekly requests. So let's do these requests. I honestly probably have most of these. So we have this. Unless he wants me to go collect it. Bird watching, obviously, I don't have. Collect 11 blueberries. Oh, I think they called me out on this. I think I cooked all the blueberries into jam yesterday. 4 butterflies, 17 timber. Why 17? 11 and 17? Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, 2 are deliverable. Okay. So let's go and deliver this one. I am super lazy in this game, though. The thing is, in like Palia or Dreamlight Valley, I'm very heavy on the fast travel and stuff. And I know there's a bunch of people in like Dreamlight Valley that don't use the gliding feature. I continuously use it. So in this game, I'm like, oh, I got a car. I'm going to drive everywhere. And then just wait till we play like other games that have no fast travel and I'm going to be like driving myself insane. Here's your timber. Have it all. I have loads from all the chopping of apple trees. What's next? We have 3 butterflies. Apparently, I did not know I had any butterflies. I have butterflies in my pack? Where? Oh, I do. Why do I have those? I think that was from yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely think yesterday's request was to tree butterflies, and then the request today is to bring 4. Like yesterday's quest was setting me up for today, and I didn't listen. All good. These are like super, super easy as well. I feel like a lot of people don't like that. I've seen people talking about how it seems too simple, but I'm not gonna lie. The simplicity of it is actually my favorite thing. I like how calming and like stress-free this is. Compared to like, oh, are we going down here? Let me go this way. Compared to like some of the quests in other games, I am enjoying the simplicity of it. And you want to bet I'm gonna drive down? You want me to walk? In Heartopia? No. No. Okay. How many of these? Wait, do I submit and then do... Oh, I have to click on it. I haven't done like multiple in one in a while. Oh. Wouldn't you find my... Wait, hidden treasure? Hidden treasure? We can upgrade this, but do I like do the rest of them? I think we'll do the rest of the quests first. I could have literally come from like under here where I was, but I went all the way up there instead. Okay, let's go catch a butterfly because I have 3 and for some reason they won't fall. So we need to go find one. I'm always on the lookout for the green ones because I feel like they're the easiest to spot. It shouldn't be because most of the world is green. Because I turned the filter off. I turned like the snow filter off because, oh, there we go. Because it was driving me insane. I didn't know you could turn it off. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. Stop moving! Yay! Yeah, I kept getting like headache from all the snow. Like it was so pretty. It looked really nice, but I expected it to go away within like a day. And I tried to do one of the quests where I had to water the white and red daisies. And I was like, why is it not working? Turns out it won't work. You cannot plant flowers and water them if it's snowing. But the game was like, we're going to snow for like forever. So according to the game, I was basically stuck. I had no way of completing quests. So I still have yet to do that quest. It's super annoying, but I turned it off, so I wonder if it'll let me do it now. If you go into your settings, I think it's the graphic settings, you can just turn the snow off. If it hadn't been for TikTok, I wouldn't have known. I'm gonna have to walk. Damn it. This is why the moped is a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. I love the car. I did this... Why did I do this to myself? I could have gone upstairs. But yeah, I think the moped's a little bit better because you can kind of get away with driving everywhere, but with the car, it's a little bit harder. There we go. Nice. Oh, we need blueberries. Do I actually have to go and pick them? We do. Okay, that's fine. We need these anyway because I'm actually going to be doing loads of jam. Because jam is definitely the easiest thing you can make in this game and not spend a single penny on anything and make profit. So I would definitely recommend if you are trying to think about making money, just make blueberry jam. Not even apple jam because it takes more effort. Oh, where are you telling me to go? It takes more effort because you've got to like hit the tree and like have energy and stuff. But this uses no energy, no gold. You just make gold. Great. I don't think there's anything like that in my other games I'm trying to think of. Like, in Dreamlight Valley, you can't make money off just simply picking fruit off a bush. I don't actually think it's possible. And in Paleo, I don't think there's really anything you can do like that either. Unless you just like pick mushroom. And I just don't think mushrooms would work the same. So they don't make as much money. These are my one money maker so far. Okay, are we done? No, we need to go bird watching. I have struggled so badly with this. But let's see. Apparently I have to like focus and say what the animal, not the animal, what the bird is. Then take the picture and it does it. I was just like opening up the goggle thing and just like aiming it at a bird and then just being like, why is it not working? Or like really, really clicking the button and it would be like, it's invalid. Why would it be invalid? I'm taking a picture of the bird. Oh wait, there's ducks. Or a duck. Yeah, I would just like click this button like multiple times and be confused as to why it wasn't working. So you like aim it at the bird, wait for it to tell you what bird it is, and then click it. And it worked. That took me like a couple of days of figuring it out. I was like, this is boring. Why would I want to do this? It doesn't do anything. Turns out it does work. You just gotta do it right. It's actually quite typical for me to do something like that though. Like, I always do something really, really wrong. And then I figure it out. And it becomes my favorite thing. Like, with fishing. I sucked at fishing in Paleo. Now it's so fun. Who made this game? Because the graphics are sick. Wait, in a good way? Because I love the graphics in this. It's, I think, is the company called Tap Tap? Or is that just like the launcher? Is it called Tap Tap? I'm not too sure what the actual company's name is. I feel really bad. I think they're a Chinese company. Because the game, I think, was available in China for a very long time before it actually came out. So, like, the Chinese server is popping off with, like, insane houses. Versus the global server that I'm on. I think the one problem I am having is that I'm on a global server. And so usually I'm getting, like, 100 plus ping. Right now I'm on 50. Tell me how I don't know. My ping halved overnight, but they did fix some issues last night, so I'm wondering if that might be why. Ooh, okay, we're done with the dailies, so now I can go and do this. And we can upgrade. Oh my god, I don't know why I thought someone was you see me jump. I think the launcher is called Tap Tap, so I don't actually know who makes the game. Let me look. It's made by um XD, I think is the name, not Tap Tap. I think Tap Tap's like the launcher that they use, but it's called XD and I think. Yeah, I think they're a Chinese company, but they did a really good job with like the game so far. But they have not optimized it fully yet, but you can play this game, Jack, on an iPad or on a phone. So there's no excuse. There's no reason that you wouldn't be playing it. So you can download it right now. Let me learn these. Sofa, a plant, and a cupboard, and the phone is driving me crazy. You're coming in? Oh god. I actually thought you were next to me a second ago. I like jumped because I heard you like you were back. And I jumped. And I thought it was you, but there was no one there. I don't know. So I just assume that. Spell pillar on my PS, which I haven't touched it. Oh god. I don't know who's there. Jack's talking, but I don't know who's there. There could be people lurking. I don't check my viewers when I'm live. I just Now they can see the corner of your face be blurred out. No one can hear you talk unless you're right next to the microphone. I don't know.
Did you hear me say hi?
He's working from home, by the way. I heard that, yeah. Hi. Oh, okay. She's going now. She came to say hi and now she's going. Okay. Glasses. I haven't got my glasses on. Bye. You still have Paleo, which you haven't played yet, though. Okay. You need to play it because I can't explain the love I have for these games. And every time I tell people to play them, they don't play them. What is with people? What is with, okay, I tell people to play Paleo and they're like, oh, I'll play it. No one plays it. Do I, though? Yes, you do. But the excuse would be not being able to play it wherever, right? You can play Heartopia on a mobile. This game is. I played it on my tablet my iPad last night. I was literally there playing it in bed. So I think you should. I think you should play it. If you do get Heartopia, though, you need to join the global server. Otherwise, we cannot play it at all. Plus, there's not really like any speaking in this game with other players. If you don't have someone as a friend, you can only speak if you set like a coffee date thing up. I don't know how they work, but it's like a propeller and you drink coffee and you can like type like type to each other. And if you're friends, you can just see the text. But you can't like talk in game. So it's like really good. There's no like people being like weird or anything. How could you do that? How are you able to do hydrate again? Wait. Hydration? When did you last do the hydration? Do I have it set for half an hour? Or do I have it set for an hour? Please tell me it is not unlimited right now. That is not good. If I have it set so that people can just continuously do it, I'm gonna have to turn that off. I'm keeping you from dying on me. Like, thank you. We just unlocked level 16 of the DG member though. So now I have new dolls. And I got hobby ticket upgrades, new cupboard, and a bunch of new stuff for the house. Oh my god. I've seen so many people building this game. I have so many ideas. So many ideas. And it's like, I think paleo decorating is more like outside, right? I feel like more people decorate on the outside than the inside. In this game, the amount of things I've seen people do inside is crazy. You're telling me I can build like a little platform and have like a little staircase that goes up onto this little platform with like, I don't know, I can't explain it to you guys. It's just so cute. If you go on TikTok and you look at like people building on there, too cute. So I definitely need to be doing this because I have the pieces for it now. They even gave me like loads of them too. I didn't realize it gave you so many. That's crazy. What's in the next level though? Well, we can't complain too much. I do need to unlock this. So I have more. Wait, why is it letting me do it? Is it because I'm near my house? Normally you can't do that if you're not at the house. That's weird. Okay. I got a missed call. Everyone keeps calling her Miss Joanne. But I'm pretty sure she's called Joan. That is not how I would spell that. Anyway, she called me. And I do need to go visit her because I need to go and like adopt a cat or a dog. And apparently, I think I'm supposed to do a cat before I do a dog. So, also we have ads coming up in like 3 minutes. So I will be going on like a little break and we will be right back and we'll get on with like a bunch of stuff because the sky just turned pink. Oh my God. But yeah, we'll get on with a bunch of stuff. I think we're going to go get a cat because I don't think you can get a dog if you get a, you can't get a cat if you get a dog first, but you can get a cat and a dog if you get the cat first. So we're going to go and do that, I think. Let's see what she said. Have you ever imagined yourself walking a path? Oh, I missed the message. Katrina's got any bunch of writing desks. Now it's perfect time to start. Well, I don't know what I'm starting on because I missed it. But thank you. Let's accept. Honey. Weather seems nice lately. Have you been out with loved ones? I initially planned to find my time to take a vacation with my sister Rory in the Middle South Kingdom in the New World. But before reaching out to her, I found out from Lee's End that Rory's teacher recently took her to explore a newly discovered ruin. I heard Rory detected some unique frequency reson. How do I even say these words? Why do these games keep giving me big words? She keeps talking. I keep missing things. She'll probably get so engrossed in this that she won't have time for me. Alas, however, like what she said, the Earth itself is an instrument. This is absolutely a significant milestone for her dream path, which is a good. Speaking of which, you've lived in a town for a while now. What is your dream, and what kind of person do you want to become? Okay. So no like serious stuff. But I have a whole section for it. What? Okay. I have no idea what this is. But we're gonna have to like save that because we have like not very long until the ads are gonna come on and I don't wanna like do anything yet. Also, we need to like claim daily codes because I completely forgot about the codes. But yes, we need to do the where is it? Oh, learn new hobby. This is what I want to do. Start caring, learn about a new hobby. So I think I'm gonna go and adopt. So while we're like still waiting for the ads to start, we're gonna go and wait outside the shop. Apparently they're really annoying though because you have to like feed them constantly and they like complain when you don't feed them like the minute that you see them. But we'll see. We'll see if they're that annoying. But we'll see. It's so cute. I don't even care. I don't care if you're like constantly begging me for food. Oh, this guy. This guy is like, hello? I love him. He looks so angry. Oh, he's got a personality. Oh, no. Oh, no. They give them different eyes. Oh, shut up. I actually saw you can buy your pet a sombrero with a mustache. So, I'm gonna go take a break because ads are literally about to begin. But there we go. There we go. I will be right back in a couple minutes. Go and grab some water or a drink, and I'll be right back. Oh, I opened the wrong one. We're back though. Hello. What do I call you? Sorry. Do I call you like full name? Or is Thea's okay? I love the little messages though. Fear is fine. Okay, I'll call you Thea. Honestly speaking, this VIP screen is cute. Thank you. I made it myself. I spent a lot of time last year trying to make all my overlays and it took a while, but I'm actually quite happy with them. But I did just get an iPad. So I'm thinking of trying to make them on there for the first time. Thea's or Thea, whichever rolls off the tongue, I'll reply to. Okay. I'll try to remember that. I am really bad with names, but I'll try. But yeah, we need to adopt a cat because apparently, if we don't adopt a cat, we can't adopt a dog. I don't know what that's about. Apparently, I'm not allowed to have a dog before I have a cat, so we're gonna go and get a cat, and I don't know which cat we're gonna get. I don't know if we have a choice, but I kind of want this guy behind me because he looks angry, and I love that. Yeah. Ow! Oh, I hate when that happens. When you play this game on PC, if you exit out the game while the game's open, you go back in, the birds scream. I have the percentage of sound on 15. They still scream in my ear. I want this guy. I'm this little grey guy. I don't know why. He just looks so angry. I love it. I was going to play this game until they force cats upon me. I don't think you technically have to even do it. But it's like a skill, but they call it hobby. But apparently you have to adopt a cat if you want a dog. You can get... You have to get a cat to get a dog. But if you get a dog, you can't get a cat or something like that. I don't know what it is. But if you look in the Discord, like the game's Discord, someone said something about it and I was like, oh, now I'm worried. If it's for cute achievement stuff, count me in. Yeah, this game is very like, what? Let's have a little look. In the collection tab, if you like, say, buy furniture, like I've unlocked these. Let's say I bought this, and you get like puzzle pieces, and they add up to rewards, like a bunch of rewards, just like the most random thing. And I get this many of these puzzle pieces, and I get this. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I forgot I put that little message in the chat. But yeah, you get all the puzzle pieces, and this is like the last thing you get, I think, which does say collector's showcase. So I'm going to assume, you know, there are different things for each one. But basically, you get like rewards for practically everything. I do recommend this game though. Like no matter what, it is so fun, so cute, so calming, and like not stressful in my opinion. But yeah, you collect clothing and you literally get a reward. So it's like, but stay away from the gacha system because it will get you. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. Like, this isn't too bad. Unless you love pink, then it's a problem. I'm not too bothered about pink. I like pink, but I don't love pink. I'm a green person. So this isn't like too big of a problem for me. I'm not gonna like spend money on it. This is where the problem usually would lie. But again, these do not attract me. I'm not that bothered by them. However, we have a My Little Pony collab coming out soon. I'm probably going to end up doing that one. Just how cute. Beefed up, semi to be paleo. Yes. Yes. Basically. Basically paleo with like shorter models, like chibi models. And then a gacha system. I like Sakura Pink mostly, but I'm more of a black red guy. I think a lot of people are really. I think most like people that have been in my stream have said like red and black, not like blue and black. I'm a green. I don't like, you can't really see it because of the light right now, but I have a green guitar. I have like a lot of like green things. Green mushroom, green dinosaur, green and brown, I think. Green's your favorite color. I would have never guessed that. You know what my favorite color actually is, Jack? It's not green. I'm a green person. Green is like my personality color. My favorite color is yellow. It has been for a long time. Maybe I should like put that somewhere. Be like, yeah, I might like green a lot, but it's not my favorite color. I love the aesthetic of green, but my favorite color is yellow. Ooh, a lavender purple. I love a lavender purple. I used to have purple hair in high school. We're talking like 12 years ago now. But I did have like a lavender purple hair at one point. It wasn't supposed to be lavender. It was supposed to be like bright, like twitch color purple, but it would always fade to like more of a lavender. Oh no, dearie me. You think you know everything about me. You know, you've been here a long time. But you don't know everything. My two are crimson red, jet black, or a space grey, and a hazard orange. Ooh, they're like very particular colours. I like that. Let's enjoy white with a baby blue. And then last but not least, I enjoy seafoam green with the off-white. My favourite list. Yeah. I like a very particular green too. It is this like sage green. It's like different shades of it, but like definitely better than the bright, bright green. I do not like this bright colour green. I said to the list of 10, hey, we're like that around here. I do that all the time. I'm supposed to be adopting a cat. Haven't done it yet. Is that a Dalmatian? He's looking at me. He wants me to take him home. I'm not allowed to. Okay. We're gonna go and adopt a pet now, I swear. Let's do it. I used to have a Dalmatian called, ooh, Duchess? I'm really bad with words. That's so cute. Were they like a cuddly dog that like shouldn't have been because they're like really big? I love when dogs are like that. They like think they're a lap dog, but they're really not. They think they're tiny and they're really not. They were. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. We're gonna do it. I love cats, but I'm definitely more of a dog person. But I do love cats a lot. We do have many new kittens lately, adorable and energetic, but quite a handful when they scamper upstairs. We've already found that out from other quest lines. More than we anticipated. I'm getting overwhelmed. Would you adopt some? That'd be a huge help. I'll take one. I'm not taking multiple. She better not give me multiple. Remember, cat care requires proper knowledge. When you're ready to hobby expansion tickets, I have them on me. Where is she? I'm trying to give them to her. She was extremely aggressive to anyone but me, and I was young. I didn't teach her that, I swear. I think a lot of pets are like that, though. There's like a lot of, I think, is it male cats are like that? With like the female owners. They're very like, I've seen people like bring home like men and they're like, no, leave. Which I think is actually kind of cute, but it shouldn't be. It should be a problem. But it's cute. Like, this is my person. You do not get them. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. We only have 2 hobbies left and one's this, so. Okay. I've already observed you. Oh. I qualify. Okay. She didn't actually ask me anything. Like, do I have a good home? I don't understand. So. You prepare yourself mentally. I'll guide you through everything step by step. Okay. Okay. They like pink cats. Let's join the cat lover club. For adoption essentials you should know. They're called pets. When you bring a kitten home, they become family. Make sure to treat them with equal care. Meet our kittens first. See if any whiskered souls connect. No need to rush if you don't have it yet. Feel free to return tomorrow. Oh my god. I told Jane you taught me out of the kitten. Good, because I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. They were adorable though. They were. I feel like the cat distribution system, if that happens, it happens, okay? You know what that is. When like a cat shows up at your door and it doesn't leave and all of a sudden it's your cat because no one owns it. I had a buddy in AU that talked about a system like this for pet ownership. You owned a lizard, then you owned a turtle, and then a snake. Oh my. Shops kept a record wondering if Heartopia is... Ooh, maybe. It's China does have a tier-based pet mechanic for larger cities to train your own pets. Oh. Did they? Wow. Okay. Well, in this game, they do not. They're just like, oh, I've already seen you do stuff. Like, you're fine. She didn't even know that my house is barely even decorated. After a kitty is adopted, it will appear in your home and you can track it through your pet section. Okay. So close to kitty and pet it for daily interactions. Don't forget to feed your cat. Okay, well, they will make sure I'm aware of it because Talia brought out ranching just when I stopped streaming. So I kind of stopped playing the game for a little while. I play again now, but I left my animals on my ranch for months without feeding them and I came back and they hated me. Okay, they hated me. So let's hope this guy doesn't hate me. Try find different foods to find its favorite. Like kitty gifts to preserve moments like the kitty's growth. You can view unlocked moments. Okay, so let's see if there's a cat. How do I do this? Adopt a kitty. How do I do it? I can do dog carrying as well. Wait. Where are the cats? How do I actually find them? I just wanted you to the cat before the dog thing, since cats technically are an easier pet than dogs. Do you think? Yeah, true. You don't have to walk a cat. You do have to walk a dog. I guess that makes sense. Quick question. Would you eat cheese 3 days out of use? Nope. Nope. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't, especially if there is some already in there that's unopened. Do you have to use that cheese? Is there not other cheese that we can eat? Some cheese to find some or not. Yeah, it's just low-fat cheddar cheese. So, I don't know. Cheddar is fine. If it doesn't smell and it's not like wet or moldy, but with your immune system, I don't know if I would. I don't know though, because I've done that before and the next day I woke up and it was already blue. It smells okay. Does it feel and look okay? She doesn't have a good immune system, so I'm a bit concerned. But I do get that if cheese is like, obviously like moldy milk, that like, technically it's fine if it looks fine. That changes things. Yeah. Yeah, she's immunocompromised and she's like, should I eat cheese 3 days a day? Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if I would eat that, Mum. That's my mum, by the way. Yeah, don't do that. We have like other cheese you could try and use. What are you making? What food are we making? We have like 3 different cheeses you could use instead. We have cheese slices. We have the American cheese. Use that. Use that instead. Garlic bread? I don't know. You could just use the cheese slices. Just watch they don't like burn because for some reason, like the cheese slices burn when normal cheese won't burn, but it's not really like actually American cheese. It's like the American cheese slices, but it's like creamier, so it's probably fine. Don't risk that. How do I adopt the cat? Guys, how do I do the cat? It says to adopt them at their home. Oh. This guy. Gonna try fillet? Okay. Just don't use the out-of-date cheese, please. Oh my god. Okay, this guy is a grey mackerel tabby cat. Oh, it's a girl! That is not a girl cat. That is a boy. This is a... Wait, hang on. This is a boy cat if I've ever seen it. You can't see him. Okay, let's do that for a second. He needs to turn around. He seriously looks like... She seriously looks like a boy. I don't know what it is. But, like, the cat's, like, personalities, like, kind of give me a vibe. I don't know. Consider is okay because digestion sometimes in your stomach break down any rest. Is past it, anything is a no-go. We use fresh. We need a fresh mum stack and get you all the good stuff. We went shopping the other day, but I didn't pick up any cheese. I didn't think we needed it. Oh my god, get the bots out. We don't want bots. We don't need bots. It says he's sociable, or she is sociable. don't know. You look cute. You're adorable, but like, what's this one? You're a girl too? I want a boy cat. I don't like this one as much. Okay, we're gonna go for this one because I feel bad that I didn't do it originally. It's fine. Okay, I wanted a boy cat and I wanted the angry looking one to be a boy. But it's okay. We'll have like 50 in a month, so it's fine. Okay. What do I name it? What do I name a girl cat? I feel like boys have like easier names. Why am I getting a message from Jack? Wait, what? What did you just send? It's like an AI image or something. What? Jack, is that like an AI image of me on a cinema screen? What are you doing? I know some people don't notice the same, but in the create dashboard under moderation, there's a secondary tab. You can enable a verified phone number email. I've done that for email, I think. So I don't know why it still does bots. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure you have to have a verified email to talk in my chat. So I don't know. These bots are like advanced though. Easy to get a boy cat and dangle a couple of grits if you need smiling. Hi, Tony. That's like a great first message of the stream. Look, I'll hide out a cinema screen to watch it. Yeah, totally not AI. Totally not AI. Can you imagine doing that? You can hear everything in the cinema. You can hear everything in any screen when you're outside. So if anyone can hear me right now, can you imagine if you actually did that? That would be very awkward. Guys, I need help with names. I don't know what to name it. Or her. I don't know what to name her. The grey cat. And it's a girl. But it's like angry looking. Apparently it's very sensitive. What's AI? Come on. And it just went out for a second. Are you sure it was your internet or my internet? Because my stream keeps doing this weird thing where it like the encoder keeps like getting overloaded and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. That's very real. My Alexa went silent. Oh, maybe it was you. I don't know what to call her. Can we name it after my mum? I don't know girl cat names. Wait, I just had a realization of like a cat that I watch on TikTok all the time. I don't know if you guys know her. I'm pretty sure she is a girl. Called Grumbus. She's so cute. She's so cute. And I think she's a grey cat. Wait. I name it after her. See, Google's telling me to call it Luna. That's a black cat name. So no. And then it's giving me like human names. I don't like those names. Dumpling. Therefore, you want to speak as and pull everything out of my closet. It's spring cleaning time. It's still winter though. Oh my god. Good luck. Good luck. My niece is called Luna. Really? That's a pretty name. I like that. You know what though? Do it? Or is that cruel? Dumpling. They're so chunky and little though. I love them. I just logged into Pillage to do my daily stuff. Check the Kilometric pile of disappointment for the new recipe, but just junk. Oh my god. It will happen, and it will happen before the end of the week. Okay? You gotta manifest it. You gotta like make it happen. It will happen. Going back to crime scene cleaner. Oh my. Wait, Jack, what are we saying no to? Because it better not be the name. Because I'm about to call it Dumpling. It will happen next month. No. Okay. You've got to, well, it's got to happen next month because if it doesn't, you cannot finish the bundle. So it has to happen. Tell the universe what you want and ask for it nicely and it will give it to you. Okay, Jack. These are the names that Google's telling me, right? Luna, Bella, Chloe, Daisy. I just hate stuff like that. If it was a boy, calling a boy animal any human name is the most hilarious thing ever. I love it. Holly Jack is a girl. It's a girl. Okay. I can call it Jackie, but I don't really like that as much. My cat names were Calypso. Oh god, how do I say these? Phalos? Hermides? Oh. Montague. Wait, Permady? Wait, I love that. Oh, Jack. I'm gonna... You know what? No, we're calling it Dumpling. Take that, Jack. I do not care. I think I can go to the Paleo Discord, tell them politely what a bunch of morons they are. Honey. Calm down. Permides purred for absolutely anyone. Oh, I love that though. Friendly cats like the nicest. We have so many by us as well, and they just like come up to me and just like let me pet them for like forever. They would move in if they could. We have a cat called Dumpling. I couldn't help it. Okay. Basic. Okay. Found your perfect companion yet? She could have made a joke there, and she did not. I am disappointed in the game for that. Have you found your perfect companion yet? And they just use a normal word, perfect. Wow. Don't worry, everything's arranged to check your home when you return. Most people go straight for petting, but take these cat food. Take these cat food? Take this cat food. Never let it go hungry. Come back for more if needed. I think we will buy food because I don't think I'm gonna have a cat with only one bag of food. I don't think it'll last very long. Oh, you give me 5? I'm gonna buy more. I am still gonna buy more because you already know this cat's gonna go hungry in like an hour. Universal animal food. Oh, so you can buy this when you have both and just feed it to both of them. It's kind of cool. I saw this stuff the other day. I'm sorry, but the fact that this game has a sombrero with a mustache to put on your dog, that is the cutest thing ever. What is this? Why does this exist? What? What am I looking at? Oh my god, this is so cute. Automatic feeder as well. Absolutely perfect. More inputs items needed for the bundle. Behind 2 new recipes you get from rummaging piles, which most players call the piles of disappointment because of how, yeah. Well, you can go to the town, is it the town hall? If you have tickets from like the last bundle and buy the rummage bags instead. That might help. So. But I think you also get them if you've already completed all the like housing stuff. I think you literally can buy them straight up. If you look back at the patch notes, I'm pretty sure that's what it says. I might be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But let's go home and find my cat. Because apparently these cats get very hungry very quick. Where is she? Where is she? Rags has spent 200 coins on just to get snowballs. You just got snowballs. I'm so sorry about that. I really am sorry about that. That's terrible. So, Dumpling loves the look of tomatoes, apparently. This is a weird angle, but yeah, she kind of just like blended into the tomatoes. I kind of love it. Maybe we should have called a tomato instead. Not the phone call. Educating grows. Stop, that's cute. She's so angry. I love it. Oh. As your kitten grows. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh. When it paws at you while meowing, don't mistake it. That's just its way of being affectionate. Obviously it is. We have a cat toy? What do you mean? Cat toys? Guide keys to link you actions, stay focused, and react quickly. You mean I can actually play with my cat? Hello? Wait. Oh, down here. I was about to say, where is it? There is this point as the piles. That is really suckish though. I'm so sorry that Pilly just like Pilly, I'm you know what? I just had a realization as well. You have really bad RNG in that sense, but you're saving up all of those coins. I'm a little bit worried what's gonna happen with those. And the fact that you said that you would like stream when you finally get them all, that your reaction's gonna be like on video. Oh no. But your character was gonna be the Poke. No! Oh my god. Never. Oh. What do we get then? Hattery VIP. What's that? Oh, you can have like more. Okay, so you can't actually buy more cats until you level up your hobby, which is weird. I'm not worried I have most of the plushies. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you do actually have quite a lot of plushies, I remember. I don't have that many, unfortunately. Although I mean, I do, but I haven't actually put the effort in. So that's my own fault. Maybe we'll do that on stream. Eventually, like, I'll actually put the effort in for that. And we can go, like, hunting for them because I didn't play for, like, 3 or 4 months. So, my own fault. I take the consequence of my own action. 1 or 2, I still have to get from the lucky coins. Do you think you'll get them before you get all the coins? Wait. Hello? Oh my. Wait. Wait. Oh my god, I love this. This is so perfect. This is what like a lot of games are missing these days. I think it was actually 6 to 7 months. It's getting so old now. Like so old that like I cannot stand it, okay? Everywhere I go, it's just 6, 7. Like I'm 26. I'm 26. I can't do this anymore. I'm an adult. I'm not down with the kids anymore. I don't know these things. It took me like 3 weeks after that became a thing to know what it was. I still don't really understand why it's funny. But I keep dropping myself in it though. Like every single day I'm like, oh yeah, it was like 6 or 7 months ago. Like, of course it was. Wait, can I pet him again? Her. It's a girl. I keep calling it a boy. I'm out in the... I'm out in the not in public when I was with you was so hard. I do it all the time. Oh, wow. Yeah, I... You see, the last time that I got jokes like that, I was in high school. Probably the first year of college, but like, I was like 17 maybe. Since then, I've just like no idea. COVID like messed everything up too because I wasn't around people that like said these things. Okay, like, is 6'7" supposed to be like 21? Is it just like a stupid thing? It makes no sense to me. I don't understand. I don't understand. Wait, I'm supposed to be playing with him? How do I do that? Her. It's a girl. This cat is gonna hate me by the end of the week. How do I play with it? What do I do? What do I do? Okay, it's beyond me, like... It's beyond me why these cats find these little, like, things so, like, entertaining. You laughed so hard last night? I did, because it's, like... When it's said in a stupid way, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But I don't actually get it. Like, I'm laughing because everyone else finds it funny, but I don't actually get it. What are we actually laughing at? I'm laughing at the situation of it being said. But I don't know what we're laughing at. It drives me insane. I need to take like a lesson in like Gen Alpha or something. Because these kids are so confusing. Is this how you all felt? Is this how it feels to just like not be the young generation anymore? Alpha is a wolf. You're a Gen Z, so this doesn't even apply to you. I'm a Gen Z, apparently. You're a Gen Z. But I feel like we're different generations. Come back for another challenge when you're ready. These phone calls book me like crazy. I'm 26. Jack, I'm 26. Even if you were 26, you are still a Gen Z. I think you're a Gen Z if you weren't born before 92. What a coincidence. Oh my god. See, you could have lied to me all these years and been like, yeah, I'm the same age as you. Not too much. How's life with your little furball? Has it started playing with you yet? Great progress. Now focus on its growth. By the way, my Princess Stella once gifted me a scrunchie. Shouldn't cats like not be anywhere near like things like that? Oh god, she's talking too quick. Your companion might bring you gifts too. They seem to like treasures from the kitten kingdom. The gifts can be anything. So sometimes just kitten hairballs. That's so not funny. I don't want that. They aren't used. Oh, never mind. I like them. Give me all of the cat hairballs. They get me cat costumes. Of course I want them. All cat care details are on your watch's pet catalog section. Okay. I actually want all the hairballs now. I've been still being 17 for the past 5 years. Look, I'm like 19. That's how old I was when COVID started. I feel like however old you were when COVID started is how old you are like forever now, because it stunted like my mental, just the whole thing of my brain. My brain got stunted at 19. It was like, oh, I'm just 19 forever now. It's really difficult to remember. Like, no, I'm not even a teenager anymore. I'm an adult now. Okay, and adults have to do adult things like gardening. I was 16 when COVID started. I think I was 19. Yeah, I think I was 19. I was 19 in the December, so I think I was 19. I was 19, 20, either way. Yeah, if you were 16, I must have been about 20. Either way. Can we stop growing up? Well, I say that, but... Do we ever really grow up? Because I don't think I do. I don't think I'll ever fully grow up. I was old when COVID hit. Now I'm older. To be fair, my frontal lobe just developed. So... I don't think I think I've only just gotten old. I'll always be Chalant. What? You will always be like 16. This is the thing. However old you were in COVID, you are that to me. Like no one will ever be any older than that. Like you're still in college, like training to be a teacher. You're like, I want to be a teacher. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, it's like my thing I want to do. And you're like so excited about the next Fortnite update. That's who you are to me. $58 this year. Honestly though, Tony, right? This is the way I look at it. Age doesn't matter when you still are a child inside, because reality of it is my mum never grew up. She's still a child. And I know she's watching this probably on the TV, so I'm like gonna get flamed later, but she knows what I mean by that. It's not a bad thing. Okay. She will always be like, her inner child isn't even in her. It's just like who she is. And I love that. Okay. I love people that don't let their inner child just like die out. Okay. Your inner child is so important. Let it live on. Do the things you love. Don't let anyone tell you not to. Can we not? Are we replying to my supervisor? A superior. Who's a superior? Who's the superior? My voice is going again, guys. I'm here. I'm just saying that like you will never be boring, right? Like I don't think you ever have been. Joe's my superior, my swans. She's gonna love that. You guys are always against me though. Okay, what do we need to do? Let's go and get this ingredient because he's gonna keep bugging me about it. Universal ingredient. Oh. Keep pressing X to get out of my car, and it is not how you get out. It's how you get in. Okay, we need the universal ingredient, please. Here. Oh. Oh! Okay. I knew you would say me. I was kind of waiting for him to say you, to be honest. Okay. We can buy 1 star or 2,000 gold. Now, I do have these stars, but I'm not going to buy things like ingredients with it because you buy clothes and furniture with it too. We're gonna do this. And we're not going to buy too many of them. I'm going to buy like 4 of them. Because I don't know what they do yet. I'm psychic. No, you actually... This is the problem. She actually is psychic, though. I believe she is. So, to be honest, you're not wrong. Cook anything using the universe. Do you see how lazy I am? This is how lazy I am. My house is right there and I just keep driving up there with it. You know what? I'm not actually feeling the fact that my cat just walks around and isn't protected. I don't want an outdoor cat. Can I point out that your driving is terrible? You're not supposed to drive upstairs. Well, it's a good job I can't actually drive IRL then. Right? Jack knows how terrible my driving is because if we play Fortnite, he drives. I do not drive, because if I drive, we are going to lose. We will lose. Trust me. We will not be winning that game if I am driving a car. Ooh. I know what we can do. We can use it to bake fish chips. It said I needed to successfully make something with ingredients, but I haven't actually succeeded yet. Now I have, but that's not the point. We go face first into a tree or the sea. Either or. I can't help it. I'm just terrible. I'm literally terrible at driving. Do you know what, like, if I ever play a game like GTA or something, I literally, like, get chased by the police constantly because... Well, you guys will probably see that at some point. And maybe we'll potentially be playing GTA when it comes out. I don't know about that. It might not be the right channel for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll be playing it off stream and I'll just, like, show you guys the videos. Because I don't know if that'd be very cozy, but we could try. But I literally just, like, run into everyone and get chased by the police because I keep running people over. Yeah, I'm not very good. I think if I hear... Start driving, I might have to buy a tank. I think if I hear start driving, I might have to buy a tank. Oh, if I start driving. Honestly, guys, if that ever happens, I would stay inside. What else do we need to do? Should we go and do the flowers? Let's see if he'll let us do... If he'll let us, like, plant flowers. Like me driving in the dark. She's awful at driving in the dark, but I do not blame her at all. Like, I'm sat in the passenger seat and I'm, like, blinded by every single thing. Like, why is the, like, we have astigmatism. It's not even that bad. This is the problem. It's not supposed to be that big of astigmatism. The astigmatism is supposed to be, like, slight. Right? Why are lights so blinding? I don't understand. They're literally terrible. But, like, at night, it's way worse. I'm okay at driving day or night, but I do have to hate night driving. I think my mum just hates driving in general. She's not a fan of driving, but she'll do it. I don't think she's a bad driver, but she just hates driving, so. Give me the flowers. I need 2 red and 2 white. Yeah? See. That's what I thought. You're not bad at driving, you just don't like it. As long as she's set up straight, like really, really straight, she's fine. She can concentrate. I just shut my mouth. Like, I don't say anything. She'll be fine. I tried to plant these flowers the other day, but because of the snow, the game was like, no. You can't water those. So, we're going to try again. Because I could turn the snow back on. But I don't want it on. It's cute for like a day, and then it just becomes too much. So, let's try this again. Over here. Because for some reason as well, you plant food in these. You plant flowers outside of them. A bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit weird, but I'm like here for it. It's fine. I don't know why we decided on that, but like it's fine. It's fine. Okay. And then I need to water them. Oh. No, I wanted to do it this way. I think I'm supposed to be like crossbreeding these. That's what it said anyway. It's something to do with... Okay. Okay, someone needs to explain this to me. Why did my phone just say a suggestion for my reel? No. I just got a YouTube short notification of my YouTube channel telling me to watch. That has to be from my other YouTube account, right? That is so weird. It's like, hey, watch this YouTube short from this person that I, like, am that person. It is me. Like, huh? That's odd. bad thing. Not a bad thing if I'm being recommended a video, because at least then my video is potentially being recommended. Tell you what, I spent 3,500 on an Alienware gaming laptop. Honestly, though, I will say this. Fair. Fair enough. I know that those laptops are good. Okay. I am not going to judge. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Does it make you happy? Good. I'm not gonna sit here and like say that you shouldn't have done that. Nope. I've never heard a bad thing about those laptops. I've literally seen like artists go on tour and like have them with them so they can play games. They've got to be good. They've got to be good. I'm not a fan of the way they look, but they look like they work really well. Trigger crossbreeding. What did I do wrong? Did I not do it? What? Watering flowers may cause them to crossbreed. Oh, okay. Leave that. I'll come back to that tomorrow. Probably won't be on stream, but it's fine. We're not doing that. Let's do this. Let's go get a dog. We have a cat. Let's go get a dog. And the thing about dogs is I have a name that I need to use. Because when I first had Nintendogs, all the way back, my first dog's name, it was just Lucky. So we're going to call him Lucky because I have to. I have 2 game laptops now. You have 2? Okay, that's a bit of a problem. Why do we have 2? Do they both work? Yes, I'm ready. This is my last hobby I have to learn. For adopting a doggy, you should have already learned how to interact with little cuties through cat caring. Kind of. I got one like 15 minutes ago, but it's fine. I won't elaborate further. Go see if there's a doggy that catches your eye. It's like kittens, if you don't find a doggy you like today, you can... Okay. Cool. Like kitties, after a doggy is adopted, it will appear in your home. You can track it through the watch pet section. It costs doggy and petty for daily interactions. Same thing. Yeah, it's all the same stuff. Okay. The only difference is the cat will probably be like horrible now and again. Okay, you are adorable, but you do not look like my lucky dog. Did he just give me his paw? I'm gonna cry. Stop. Hi. And it's a girl again. It's not the boys. I want a boy. No. Oh, and he's clingy as well. Jack, I'm not going to call it that. Mom, are you still there? You know. You know about me and dogs more than anyone. This dog is a Shiba Inu. I'm gonna freak. It's a clingy, sluggish, male Shiba Inu puppy. Behave. Is that to me or Jack? I hope that's to Jack. Yeah. We're gonna get this little guy, and he's gonna be called. Okay. Now what? Do I get to go home? He's called Lucky for a reason. There's a connection to it. It's my Nintendog. He wasn't a Shiba Inu. He was a Labrador, but you know, he was a blonde Labrador, so it worked. Like adopting a kitten, bringing a doggy into your life means taking full responsibility. Learn about its personality, find the right petting frequency. What's this? And prepare enough food. Oh, guys, I literally bought the cat food thinking I couldn't get a dog yet. And I can just buy universal pet food instead. So now I've got a bunch of cat food that I can't use my dog. That's annoying. As far as teaching it new actions and such, I probably don't need to get into detail. You already know about that. Okay, this woman is just like, doesn't care what I do with these animals. She doesn't need to tell me anything apparently because I just must be an expert. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Why are we not like double checking that the owners of these pets should even be owners? Little bit concerning. We are not gonna buy any dog food because she gave us some, and we're just gonna buy universal pet food from now on. Okay, now I have one canned dog though. If I get any more in the game and I'm streaming, I'll name it after one of you guys. I'll name them after you guys because that'd be funny. I like the idea of that. It's my little Shiba Inu. I have a Shiba Inu. I just have a little dumpling. Oh, she's so cute. Technically, I have 3. 2 Alienware and 1 Asus. One of the Alienware laptops is 14 years old. Oh my god. Wait, that's longer than... That's probably like older than my gaming time. I just realized. No, it's not. It's nearly though. I would have been 12. I probably started gaming at like 8, so maybe not quite, but that's insane. Does it still work good? So everyone's which struggles with a few newer games. Fair enough. It's this one because the Alienware laptop that I have now was still being developed and wanted to play Palia. Oh. That's like fair enough though. That is like fair enough. I get the point. Fair point. Can we provide you with names or is that just not allowed anymore? No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna name them directly after you guys. I'm gonna call them Jacktron368. And I'm not joking. I will literally name these after you guys. You can give me a name if it's not inappropriate. This is a family-friendly stream. 95% family-friendly stream. There are a lot of people that come into my stream with kids, okay? I am not naming my like animals after weird things, Jack. It's not happening. Okay, we are gonna go and say hi. And then we're gonna go on an ad break. It is not an appropriate name. It is not. Let's pet. Oh my god. Oh, stop. 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 Feed. What's he gonna do for food? Oh my god. Oh my god. Pet him. Why can't I pet him when he's on his... Man. I should be able to pet the cat or the dog when they're like asking for it. Like... Oh, that's... Oh, they like each other. They're like not... They're not fighting or anything. I don't know if they can do that, but like they look very content. Look at them. This guy. I love her so much. Oh, what are they doing? Look at them. They're so weird. I love them. Shih Tzu on it spelled like Shih Tzu, but looks better. Oh my god. See, this is why I'm not taking you guys as a recommendation. Oh my god. You guys are so bad. Someone understands Simon. I want cute names. I want cute names. Okay, I'm either doing cute names or I'm literally gonna name them after you, but I'm gonna make sure they have bad traits. Oh, this guy's so cute. Doggy training session. Great. Oh, we only have 1 minute. Okay, it's fine. Where's the treasure supposed to be? I don't know what I'm doing. Jiggly? As in Jigglypuff? I'm just gonna turn them all into like few names. You know that, right? You guys need to behave. We're going on a break in a minute. You guys can have a little break and cool down, okay? Although there are similarities in cat carrying and dog carrying, even Princess Stella and First Knight have their own distinct personalities. You'll just need to adjust your approach based on the doggy's actual situation. Some things kittens can do might not be suitable for doggies, but think likewise. Doggies will have their own unique traits. I'll leave that for you to discover it for yourself. Awesome. Am I close to the timeout corner? So Jack, you're here, and the timeout corner's here. To think I almost modded you in my other channel before, and you were like, "No, I'd rather be VIP." I don't think I could mod you. I don't know if I could trust you to not like time out people without meaning to have them timed out. You know what I mean? I feel like you would do it for the fun of it. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys for a couple of minutes because ads should be playing any second. Go and get a drink, go stretch, eat something, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. I'm back. I almost wasn't. I just used the hot tap in the bathroom to wash my hands. Someone used that recently. It was very hot. I just nearly burnt my hands off. Oh my god. In the 5 years you've never timed me out. Well, I have a surprise. I did. I actually either it was either me or it was someone else that was a mod that timed you out. I think I told them to as a joke, and it was like 5-second timeout. But oh, it was him. Of course it was. No, I'm joking. It just I didn't expect it to be so hot. I put my if you can see it. No, it's not that bad. I was like, I use the hot tap as always. Burn my hands. It's like being in a you're going to use a public bathroom. The taps are either freezing cold or boiling hot. Every time I burn my hands or they freeze off. So it was like that. What were we doing? We're not doing this. We're not doing that. We're not doing that or that or that. Deliverable. Okay, we can do this. I'll come back soon. I promise. That person did it. Yeah, he's forgotten. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I don't know what these dream things are. I have no idea what it means, but Annie's about to explain it. So hopefully she explains it good because I have no clue. What are these? These dream directions prepared by the developers club are simply suggestions. With many dreams in the world, it's impossible to list them all. It would be wonderful if you could set your own dream goals. We'd be thrilled about that too. No matter what your... Oh, these are just basically dreams. Quite literally. Not sleep dreams, but aspirations essentially. No matter where the inspiration comes from, once you set your direction, work hard towards your dream. Is this a trait tree? Or a skill tree type thing? Along the way, by achieving small milestones and raising your dream path level, you might earn unexpected rewards. There's just reward after reward in this game. I like that. Ability improvements or gifts prepared by the developer club. Okay. Upgrade any dream to level 2. Okay, what are the dreams? Puzzler, writing, music, and then coming soon. I hate the word soon. Drives me crazy. You know when... I don't know if this is just me, but I remember when Paleo hadn't actually come out yet. And I was in the Discord before testing even began. And it was so annoying because every time someone was like, hey, when's the release date for this game? And it was soon. I think it became a meme. I think it was Paleo. But then I think the meme kind of traveled over to the Witchbrook Discord as well. Or more the Tricklefish one because that's where it's based. But just soon. Oh, it'll be happening soon. It's I am being driven crazy. ASAP or actually a dedicated time. I much prefer ASAP or actually a dedicated... Wait, what are we saying? What did I miss? I feel like I said something and I don't remember what I said. I forgot. Oh, coming soon? Okay. This is why you guys told me to put a panel about this. This is why you guys told me to put a panel and put it in my descriptions and stuff that I don't have the right brain function to get things straight away. I'm literally talking about something. You reply about it and I'm just huh? I'm engaging in your convo as a dedicated viewer on your channel. I know what you mean now. Yeah, I hate soon. I prefer yeah, it'll be happening at this quarter of this year, but every time they do that, it gets pushed back. Apparently we do have a confirmation on Loftia though, it will be coming out mid 2026, and I think I get to play another test very soon. You guys will be seeing me playing that on stream. We will be playing that a lot. I already own the game essentially because I'm a backer for the game. So like, I'm not gonna play it. Do you know what I mean? Every test I've done for that game, I have been obsessed for days. So it's very similar to the art style of this game. So if you like the art style, you're gonna like the art style of Heartopia. However, I cannot promise that it will be on consoles except Switch. I don't know. I know it's on PC, I know it's on Switch, but I don't know about PlayStation or Xbox. This drives me crazy not being able to say anything. Moving on from the soon thing. We have 3 options I can choose, but I actually can't do this yet. So I'm either a writer or a puzzler. I think I'm going to choose this because I don't know about books yet. I don't know how to do books yet. Can I only do one then? Me if it stays like that. It's going to stay like that until I level up. How rude. That is going to drive me insane. Okay. Well, I don't think I can upgrade it. Purchase. Oh, okay. What do I do next? Help a member with their puzzle. Complete a puzzle. Okay, let's go buy a puzzle. Where's Kaching? Where is she? I don't see. Oh, there she is. Oh, might help if I try. Okay, let's go and find Kaching and buy a puzzle. Okay, I don't know why. I'm still like used to like finding things in this game. I've been playing this game for a week or more, and I haven't figured out where everything is still. Please tell me you have a puzzle. Which one do we do? Sunlit Island or Capybara statues? I just feel like I do that one, but it costs money, so I have to do this one, and I'm pretty sure I've already done this one a million times. Damn it! And we have to go home and do this because for some reason I don't think I can do a puzzle when I'm not home. Don't know what the reason is, but I'm not allowed to. Let's go back home and do a puzzle. I forgot I had a dog. Wait, where's the cat? Where's Dumpling? Oh. I hear her. Is she inside? Don't. She's on my bed. Oh my god. She's asleep. Oh no, I'm getting distracted. She's asleep on my bed. How cute. Can I put this on here? Can I put it on here? Is anywhere I can put it? It's not on the floor? Okay, we're just gonna pick it back up when I'm done. I've already done this jigsaw. It's gonna drive me insane. I have to do it again. But you know what? Like, it's fine. Oh. Wait, how do I... Okay, this should be easy, but for some reason, that confused me. This is like the easiest thing and I'm already getting confused. Look at that. Felt like made no sense in my brain. I was like, hang on. Where does that fit? Okay, we're fine. I actually want the bigger puzzle because I actually like to do puzzles. Okay, so we go in here. We click this. Oh, I got 2 things. It didn't count. Do I have to do all this? Where is she looking? Yeah, we're not doing that. I am not doing that right now. There is no way I'm doing that right now. That's gonna take me forever. I'm just gonna have to do like the same puzzle over and over and over and over again. So I think we should go and just like we should probably do gardening again. Like make sure I've got some plants going because these are finished again. And it's only take 15 minutes, by the way. I keep abandoning them. I did tomatoes so that we could do multiple on stream. We've only planted them twice. But it's in fact, is that correct? That is not correct. I'm gonna have to get it up on here because I don't actually have all of them. I'm gonna get them up on there and I can do it. Point. Those are all the codes for anyone that's like not got codes. You basically just go to your settings and like input them and they give you like actual good. They either give you like currency or like I think we've sometimes gotten things out of like outfit stuff. I'm not sure. But they're definitely worth doing them because they do run out eventually. They gave us something really good the other day because the game broke and I was like, imagine if every other game did this. They just gave us like gacha money. I was like, no way. You're gonna give me actual good money because the game broke for like 5 minutes? I will take that. I will definitely take that. It's like Paley giving us like a full-blown plushie, not a potato pod. I don't mind potato pods, but I would rather have a plushie. Do we have any? We don't have any. Okay. I'm gonna pop the jigsaw in storage. I need to put this somewhere because I actually feel terrible that I don't have a bed for my pets. She's sleeping on the floor now. No, that's not acceptable. It's an apple box. Oh my god. Okay, you can go there. I got you a little house. I don't know if she wants it, but with a house. Hopefully you actually sleep in there now instead of on the floor because I feel terrible. But then again, I think dogs like to sleep in your bed. But cats are just like, what? Like that? Look up at the ceiling. Me? Me or the character? Oh my god. That isn't how that works, Jack. That is not how that works. Okay? You can't say to look at the ceiling that it says gullible. It's like, oh, it says gullible on the ceiling. You're like, huh? You're like a dad joke person. Go away, I hate you. It's okay, I have my tree friend. This is my tree friend. You know how I have this? From Palea. I need him in this form, but I in this form. Get the vibe. I need a pop vinyl of him, and I need a plushie of him. Like, now. Hi, what the tree? I don't. He's so cute. I think you need help. Leave me be. I like cute things, okay? Look at him. He even has a little acorn bag. He's so cute. Look at his belly and everything. How can you not tell me this guy's adorable? We kind of look alike, don't you think? Can you send one to my PO box too when you receive a plushie of him? You realize a plushie of this would probably cost like 50 quid. You know how much my Pilly one was? I think he was like £40. I love him. I love my chopper, I do. But oh my god. He's not adorable? I'm about to time everyone in this chat out. Everyone. I'm gonna just like ban everyone. You guys are so mean. How can you look at him and not think he's cute? Look at that fur. Look at that. I just realized I need to make a thumbnail because I need to upload this stream to YouTube anyway. So maybe he'll be on my thumbnail. Are you gonna chop him down? No, do you know what you do? Those roots that were around him so he couldn't move. He's called the roaming oak. Right? He likes to move, but he's a tree. He shouldn't move. It's unnatural. But he likes to. So the world is like, no, you can't move. So they wrap him in like roots. So you like chop the roots down, get something in return, and help him out. I love him. He look cute, chopped up and stacked next to a nice log fire. You guys are so mean. You guys are so mean. I'm leaving him now. I'm leaving him. You guys are being mean to him. I feel sad. You're bullying my friend. Oh my god, what is that dog doing? What'd that dog do? Is this a poodle? Can I pet this dog? Is this someone's dog? Wait, this is like real life. This is like real life. I could just pet someone's dog. Hello, where's your owner? Oh, this is a cute house. Oh, this is so cute. Hello? Hello? What are you called? It's okay for you to bully me, but we can't say anything about your tree. Why did I bully you? What do I do? I do not do that. I do not do that. Wait. Oh, wait, where's this person's... Where is this person's, like, mailbox? I was gonna like the house. But I can't. Why can't I like it? Why can't I like it? I was gonna like the house. It's really cute. You have a cute dog. You have a cute dog. Oh my god, look how cute that thing is. You guys are gonna do it again. I already know it. But look. You cannot deny that these are cute. This game is like basically a cute simulation. Like everywhere you go, something's cute. Even the bees are cute in this game. And I don't really like bees. I don't think they like me, so I'm always scared they're gonna sting me. Yes, one of the dogs watch a cute tree and I wouldn't put it past the game to actually do that though, I'm not gonna lie. See? How long did it take you to find that emoji? Why do I feel like you were trying to find that when I was with the dog? Oh no. I feel like I need to like make you a notes page of all like the emojis that you like you need for like responses. And then you can find them quick. Oh my god. Wait, what is that one? Jack, are you on a Samsung or something? I literally don't know what that emote is. Is it this one? With like the smile on it? Why is it showing up like that? Why is it showing up like that? It looks like an Android emoji. It's because basically on OBS, which is what you use to stream, like the emojis don't look the same as they do on phone, but some of them look a certain way. So I don't know why it's showing it like that. It was the Google AI. The Google AI? The one that I think you sent was the one. But like, I can't do it because my eyebrows don't move like that. But like the aw one. Then again, apparently I don't use emotes correct anymore. Apparently there are rules. Have you guys ever scrolled up on TikTok and someone puts a comment and they're like, they're not a kid, right? They put a comment and they're trying to sound a certain way, but the emotes they use are not making any sense. Emotes didn't used to be this serious, but now they've got rules. Yeah. I saw someone say something like that they were trying to be like sincere, I think is the right word. And they put like a laughing emoji. I don't think that was the one I wanted to use. Shown on phone, but not on TV. Yeah, I don't think emojis like that show up on TV. My emotes do, though. And you have emotes. You have emotes. You're subbed, you have emotes. I paid for those. I paid for them so you guys could use them. Stop using the iPhone one. Hell, I think I even put like some of the paid ones. Did I put some of the paid ones into the follower emote too? Do I? Yes. If you're on your phone, it should be a little smiley face near the chat. They're like frog girl emotes. And then there's also a green onion, which if you don't know what the green onion is, I used to never be able to find green onions in Palia, and then one day they just showed up out of nowhere and it's all I can find now. I don't know. It's an asparagus? No, it's not. I know what asparagus looks like. That's bugging me that that keeps showing up there. Do I have anything I needed to sell? No, I don't. I'm not going to do any cooking now, though, because I think if I do cooking on stream, I'm not going to be able to write stuff down that I want to write down. I'm currently making like a little Notion page in my like gaming notes bit that actually has all the information for things, because right now the Wikipedia pages for this game are not very beefed up, and I know why. I know why. But I need to know things. So I don't want to make anything and sell it without writing it down. So I won't do that today. I don't know what green onions that you've been seeing. That is a green onion. It is not an asparagus. Do you not know the difference between a green onion and an asparagus? Asparagus does not go like this. It just goes like this. They're both green. One is a different green to the other one. One is a vegetable and one is an onion, which I don't know what an onion classes as. Is it a vegetable? Because people don't eat it like a vegetable. They eat it like a spice. You told me so. That is not my emote. Mom, where did you get that emote from? Oh, it's a global Twitch emote. That is not my emote. Hello? She's like, oh, you told me something. Still not my stinky cheese. Why is that the one you found? I have like 8 emotes and that's the one you choose. Mine look like this. Look. These are my emotes. Just like, oh, I'm gonna go and find them. Finds Twitch emotes, but not mine. And use ground to ground, so I think they maybe are classed as a veg. Should we Google it? Is an onion a vegetable? Yes. But it both botanically and color like I can't say that word. Cull in the early. That is not a word for Yorkshire accent. Oh, it's a bulb vegetable. Okay, we're not going to keep talking about that because that just sounds so stupid. An onion is a vegetable and my emote is a green onion, okay? Leave me be. I did find yours, but that one looked interesting. I did find yours, but ow! That is my voice. My ears. Oh my god. Okay. So basically, my mum found my emotes and then said, I want to use a stinky cheese instead. What? Let me have a little look. I don't want to make any food on stream because I do want to write it all down. And I know that's like kind of nerdy of me, but like, there's no information out there and I want to make money in this game so I can buy cute things. I don't have anyone we can go raid, I don't think. I do have a hype train and a couple of people's streams right now. But we're also co-streaming with people, so I don't really want to interrupt the co-stream because that feels really awkward. Now you're using my emotes. No, she's gonna use them all the time. I love that. I need to like, oh, I wish we could like add our own emotes in on things. Oh, it's me. I was like, oh, who's that? It's me. Okay, I actually don't know if we can go into anyone's stream. I'm not gonna lie. I don't see anyone. Okay. I will not. I don't think we'll raid today because I cannot for the life of me find anyone that I want to like go into without disrupting a co-stream. I don't know what I'm sending. It's a crying emoji. She's like bawling her eyes out. But to be honest, you can like. She just say I look tired. Rude. Hello. I've had contacts in since 11. My eyes look tired because I haven't had my glasses on. You do? I look like this because of the contacts. You can buy chainsaws. I was wondering how fast this cute tree would burn into it. You can buy a chainsaw? I'm sorry, what? You can buy a chainsaw. I see how it was. How was that one compliment? You were the one compliment? Yeah. Thanks, mother. I look tired. I'm literally about to end stream. Can you buy? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although I did see a meme on the Discord that said that someone glitched in the game and basically had no head, and this person had their axe out right next to them, and then someone else said that they were being chased by someone with an axe the other day for like 10 minutes. This person just kept chasing them with an axe out. There's always chaos in a cozy game. It's never just simple. But I am actually tired, by the way. I'm not just saying like, I can't believe you're saying I look tired. I might look tired. It's mainly because of the contacts, but I am tired. But I am gonna end stream there because I do think I need to go and eat something actually. Bedtime isn't till 11. Sleep time isn't till 11. Bedtime is in like 30 minutes technically, but I'm probably not gonna go to bed yet. Because you are tired? I am tired. I'm always tired. I'm always tired. But I enjoyed playing this on stream. I'm not like too sure as to what will happen for the next stream because I did say that Wednesday and Friday would be a regular stream day. So I will be streaming again on Wednesday, regardless. Like that will be a stream day. But Sunday could be a stream day if I feel like it. Sunday's like a potential stream. I'm not going to say that I will definitely stream on a Sunday. It's like 2 streams a week, definitely. Sunday, if I get all my stuff done, 'cause Sunday is like a reset day for me. I do everything this Sunday. So if I get everything done and I feel up to streaming, we might do a little stream. It will probably be Heartopia, to be honest. But Wednesday, I'll probably do a fairly stream because we do need to try and get the rest of these bundle stuff done because it's going to drive me insane. And maybe, hopefully, Tony can get his recipe by then. Yeah, I'll leave you guys there because I do need to go eat. And apparently, I look tired. So maybe I should go drink water. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And go and take care of yourselves. I may see you on Sunday. If I do not, I will see you on socials. I'm trying to post, I promise. All my next stream will be Wednesday at 4 p.m.